Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. St. Francis of Assisi. Chapter 1. An American and an Australian walk into a men's room. The first country hit I ever had was a song Kenny Chesney released called Somewhere With You. As the song was climbing the chart, one day my friends started calling me saying, "Dude, Keith Urban is talking about your Kenny Chesney song. He's telling his fans to buy it." Keith had made an iTunes playlist of songs he recommended to his millions of fans. I had never met Keith Urban. He had no idea who wrote the song, but apparently he liked it. And with me being a huge Keith fan, you can imagine what a great feeling that was. Keith's song, Till Summer Comes Around, was one of the reasons I wanted to write in Nashville. The imagery was like a 3-minute movie, and his melodies were simple yet infectious. Somewhere With You went to number 1 on the Billboard chart and stayed there for 3 weeks. Even though he was already a superstar, it was Chesney's first song to sell 1 million copies. A few months later, I was given an award for the song at a black tie event in Nashville. Washing my hands in the men's room, I looked up in the mirror, and at one of the urinals behind me, I saw Keith Urban taking a leak. So I waited for him. As he stepped up to a sink and waved his hand under the faucet, I said, "Hey, Mr. Urban, my name is JT. I wrote Somewhere With You, and I wanted to thank you for telling your fans to buy it. You really helped us have a hit." Keith's eyes widened, and in his Australian accent that could melt butter, he said, "Shit, mate, what a song. If I'd have heard that song first, I would have put it on my next album." "Whoa," I said in disbelief. He continued washing his hands. "In fact, if I had heard that before anyone else, I'd have put it on my next 5 albums." I said, "That is so crazy, because I sent that song to your record company, to your publisher, and to Erica at the Bluebird Cafe, who I think knows you." Keith laughed, saying as we walked to the door, "Do you have your phone on you? My wife loves that song." With the speed of Luke Skywalker arming his lightsaber when Darth Vader appeared, I handed Keith my phone. Surely I was about to meet Nicole Kidman right there by the hand dryer. Keith punched his number into my phone, saying, "Next time you have a song that you love, don't do anything with it. Just call me right away." We gave each other a bro hug and went back to our candlelit tables as the awards continued. At 7 o'clock the next morning, I texted him, "Hi, Keith, it's the guy from the bathroom." I felt myself turn into the slapping your own face emoji. He never texted back. Then one day, as Forrest Gump says, out of the blue, clear sky, Keith's name lit up my phone. Keith and I got together and wrote a song called Somewhere in My Car. It was a 2-week number 1 in the USA and number 1 for several weeks in Canada. By the time it was released, it was my 4th number 1 hit. This book tells the stories behind those songs and hits I've continued to have. It takes you down the many paths I have traveled, from Toys R Us big wheels to Rockstar tour bus wheels around the world and back. Along the way, you will meet the characters that have made up the memoir of my life so far and see how an unbridled passion for music led me to become a hit songwriter. This is the story about a kid from Michigan who loves 80s hard rock and dreams of being on the radio. With no music business connections whatsoever, he winds up in Nashville, Tennessee, writing giant country hits. If this was a movie, it would seem too good to be true, but it is true. This is my story. It all began when I was brought into this world by a young couple, a man and a woman who loved me so much, they decided to give me away.